the agencies.
Joining us now is Unleashed Prosperity co-founder and America First Policy Institute senior fellow Steve Moore. Steve, it is great to see you tonight. I know you're a big fan of this fraud crackdown that Vice President JD Vance is leading. Republicans seem pretty gung-ho about it, and I think they might get something done. Steve, there's not a lot of Democrats who seem to be as equally gung-ho, which leads me to ask, once Republicans lose power, and, eventually they will, are we going to run out of steam on this thing, or do you think it has legs beyond Republican regimes?
Well, a couple of things about this. I mean, one is that the whole design of these federal programs, whether it's unemployment insurance programs or Medicaid, like you were talking about, or the daycare subsidies, you have an incentive in these states to cheat, to lie, to allow the fraud to happen. You know why, Brian? Because a lot of these, especially Democratic governors, say, oh, this just brings more money into our state.
Right.
So they're actually encouraging the fraud. So one of the things that needs to be done, and I hope this task force does it, and JD Vance, I think, is an excellent person to run this, is to change the way it works. In other words, how about this, Brian? Why don't we reward the states with more money that are rooting out the fraud and have good records, and penalize financially the states like California, like New York, like Illinois, like New Jersey that have these high records of fraud, because the system is encouraging it. As an economist, I can tell you, if we reward people for bad behavior, you're going to get more bad behavior.
Yeah, Steve, I mean, what you just said would make total sense, but remember who you're dealing with. Implementing it wouldn't be that easy. And the woman who sits in this chair normally always says that the more they spend, the more money they get from the federal government. So
right.
To your point. But let me ask you about DOGE, because you had a lot of people in this country that voted for DOGE, that were excited about DOGE, especially with Elon Musk at the helm. And even though the targets were never quite met, it was still very substantial. And DOGE is supposed to still be working for the people, even though Musk isn't there anymore. But it kind of like died off and you never heard anything else about it. Is this going to be like that?
Boy, I hope not. And by the way, I want to add something that you just said, Jackie, because let me give you an example on food stamps. Under Biden and under Obama, they would literally go into communities and encourage as many people to sign up into these programs as they possibly could. And you know what they would say? It's a stimulus to the economy. Mm-hmm. The more people that we sign up for these programs, the more money that flows into our district. And so the whole thing is just back-asswards. Look, I am a great admirer of what Elon Musk did with DOGE. They found hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud, waste, abuse, redundancy. And the frustration is Washington just shrugs their shoulders and say, okay, well, that's just the cost of doing business. What we have to do now that we've identified these programs is, come on, let's go in there and fix these programs and eliminate, you've got 38 different job training programs. You've got 24 different, special ed programs. The left hand of the government doesn't even know what the right hand of the government is doing. I believe that you could cut the cost of government in Washington by about 20%, which would be enormous saving, just by getting rid of the redundancy and waste and obsolete. There are literally agencies of government, we don't even know what they do, for goodness sake.
Totally. And look, with the deficits we got right now, we could use a cut of about 20% of spending. I want to get onto this, Steve. I know gas prices are sky high, and that's a tough thing right now, no downplaying that. One of the stories that's not being talked about very much is how many of the world's oil tankers are rushing to the Gulf of America coast to get in on the oil we're producing. It feels like the entire energy playing field has tilted in our direction. And that, to me, is a big long-term win, Steve. How do you see it?
Well, you're right. I mean, that is happening. The problem is it's gradual. And that's why it's going to take a year or two to get that transition done. And in the meantime, we're facing these high gas prices, and consumers are really angry about that. But I do think, this is the point that I've been making for years, is we want all of North America. That would include Mexico, the United States, and Canada. We have more oil than any other continent. So why don't we become the new Middle East, right? Why don't we become the region of the world where people come to? And this is exactly the point, Brian, you were making. But when you take Canada, United States, and Mexico together, boy, we could be the powerhouse of energy production for the next century.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Steve. And that's because the president came in and he said, drill, baby, drill.
Yep.
And that's what we did. And
Yep.
that's the only reason oil is $100 a barrel when you've got a major conflict going on in the Middle East right now. We are the producer that's out there. I'm wondering if you think it'll be a sideline conversation with Xi Jinping, like, hey, don't buy oil from the bad guys, buy it from us.
Yeah, no, look, I mean, they should do that. By the way, China is the country in the world that is most dependent on Middle East oil. What I really want Trump to do at these meetings is stare right into the face of President Xi and saying, why aren't you helping getting those channels open with the Strait of Hormuz? They have the most to benefit from that. And the reason they're not doing it is because they're trying to decapitate. Everything President Xi is trying to do right now is try to weaken the American economy. They are not a friend. They are not an ally. They are an enemy of the United States, and I hope Trump treats them as such.
Well, we will follow all the goings on there, Steve Moore. Thanks for being with us tonight. Good to see you, sir.
Thanks, guys.